Hi. In today's video, we are going to discuss about XML and what is that I am going to cover under the XML course. As we all know, there are different markup languages we have in application development whenever we are working, like HTML, XML, DHTML, all that. Wherein HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, whereas DHTML stands for Dynamic Hypertext Markup Language. And after that, one more markup language which extensively will be used, like XML pages and all everything, is called XML, which stands for Extensible Markup Language. In this video, I am going to explain about what is that the course structure is all about in reference to the XML, so that whoever wants to learn XML can reach out based on it. So in introduction, I'm going to cover the first one. I'm going to cover what exactly markup languages is, right? Followed by this, what is generalization in markup languages, generalization part of it. At the same time, I'm going to discuss about what is SGML, what are the structured documents generally we require to prepare. Followed by this, I'm going to discuss about the attributes part, like what are the elements which will be added to the value, which is called attributes, that I'm going to discuss here. At the same time, going to discuss about the entities, different entities, whatever we have. Followed by this, like whatever the SGML as a meta language. Next, we'll be discussing an overview and high-level understanding over HTML part, because hypertext markup language is what we will be using extensively, so that HTML part will be discussed. Next, I'm going to discuss about the origin of XML, like XML, different roles of XML we have. At the same time, comparison over XML to HTML, and why XML is so advantageous when we are working on the application development. What are the different main features of XML we have, like well-formed XML, DTD, DOM, SAX, linking, queries, all that. At the same time, implementing XML, like what kind of softwares and parsers, editors, followed by the style sheets and all everything are required. So this is all about the introduction part, which I'm going to cover. This is what generally the complete understanding over XML is, what generally the intro part was. Now, this is where generally XML syntax, these are the different syntax you can see here. One, we need to know about the design goals first. What are the design goals do we have? At the same time, for every markup language, there will be a syntax which normally we follow. So the markup syntaxes, what are the document parts and all everything will be explained. Followed by this, I'm going to explain about the XML elements, something like star tags, end tags, empty elements, right? The document elements, child elements, etc. Next, in addition to the introduction about XML, as I mentioned some time back, wherein we need to discuss about attributes. In these attributes, we have white space, special attributes, URL handling, all that. Next, character and entity interface references. What are the character and as well as entity references we have? Apart from this, comments. Followed by the comments, C data sections and as well as document date declarations, all that. Followed by this, whatever the processing instructions we have. At the same time, well-formed valid documents, sample applications like with catalog, etc. So this is all something relating to XML syntax. Now, when we talk about document type definition, we need to know about DTD, which is called document type definition. So how to write a DTD? What are the general principles do we require to follow? Followed by the kind of tags as well as internal and external DTDs, what is that we use? At the same time, we must be knowing about the basic markup declarations. Followed by this, we must be knowing about the structures of DTD, like what are the different entities, elements, and attributes we have. All these has to be known to us well in advance. Next level about entities, what are the predefined and general parameters do we have? Next, we will be discussing about the elements, like something like empty element or mixed one, all that. Next was attributes in DTD itself. In document type definition, we need to know about the attributes like hash required, hash implemented, hash fixed, default, etc. In addition to that, relationship within documentation, wherein kind of name tokens what we have. Followed by this, what are the shortcoming DTDs we have, and sample application with DTD is what generally we will be taking. This is what generally the DTD stands for, which is called document type definition. Once it was done, we call it as DOM, which is called document object model. We must be knowing about what is DOM stands for. And we must be knowing about the structure over XML DOM, what are the advantages of DOM, and the introduction about XHTML, like XHTML followed by the kind of rules, what is that we follow. Along with this, we must be knowing about DOM API, like application programming interfaces for DOM. Followed by this, we must be knowing about the DOM server and clients. At the same time, sample applications using DOM, XML, all that. So this is all something which we are talking about DOM, which is called DOM, which is called document object model, is what we are going to discuss. After that, sample API for XML, where of course versions might be different, like, but what is XAX is all about, what are the benefits of it, right? So structure of XAX, all these will be discussed over here. Right, so all these will be discussed, what are the different SX we have on that. Next, we will be discussing about the namespaces, which are essentially important when we are understanding and writing the namespaces using and as well as the kind of issues, what is that we use in DTD model. Along with this, we must be knowing about declaring namespaces, how to write the scope of the namespace, right? So sample examples. Next, we must be knowing about the difference between DTD and XML schemas. Next, writing schemas is important, like preamble, simple complex types, attributes, groups, all that. In addition to that, we must be knowing about what are the different data types, like primitive data type, generative, or user-defined data types. Along with this, we must be knowing about XML data, which is reduced in reference to the modifications of it, all that. So this is all something relating to namespaces is what we are discussing. Next is about XML linking query, where here we are going to discuss about XML information sets. Followed by this, what are the different information types we have, followed by the importances and all. At the same time, I'm going to discuss about linkages, and as well as declarations under Xlinks, all that. Followed by this, we're going to discuss about X pointers and XPath. These are two important elements under XML, X pointer, XPath, all that. Next, querying is even important here, so that we'll be discussing about XML querying. So basics of query language, like because different languages, like query languages, we will be using to extract the information. So that query language is called XML query language. I'm talking about, not SQL. Right? So structured query language is what we are discussing. Followed by this, we are going to discuss about the difference between the relational database management system and XML documents, and how these SQL means structured extensible query languages, all that. Next, we must be knowing about XSLT, XPath. All these must be known here. Next, Excel transformation is required. So why and XML transformation? What is XSL, XSLT? Right? So what are the different child state structures are we going to use? And we must be knowing about the example of XSLT, all that. Next, XML and databases, like how we are going to store XML in issues persistences, right? So difference between querying of XML and querying of database, which is called SQL, everything. And we need to have some example over this. This is essentially required. Next, we must know about XML styling, like wherein to connect with the server or client-side XML transformations, all that. Along with this, we need to know an overall understanding about WAP. Of course, this is not something we are using now, but on overall understanding about WAP, wireless access protocols, application protocols is what I'm doing. Last but not least, of course, there is some sample project or example I'll be taking so that I'll be explained it about this. This is what am I covering in reference to the XML. If whoever wants to learn XML from the basic level, because whoever are new to XML and who wants to learn XML, all that. So please reach out to the contact details which will be posted in below to this video. Thank you.